Hey guys, and welcome back to Teen Questions with me, Hollow. We have a bunch of questions this time. We actually had like a fucking ton of like really interesting and good questions. And I picked a few, but definitely if you think you had a good question, ask it again for the next time. Because I just didn't have space for like a bunch of questions. I just got so many good ones so quickly when I was looking down the list. So definitely try again if you thought you had a good question. But otherwise, here is the tea. Oh look, it's in one of these bloody small white ones again. Seems to be some sort of unwritten rule recently that I must drink tea out of these cups. Look, I've got one here that I should really have put downstairs by now that I drank earlier today. This is one I made earlier. And now I'm drinking from another one. Wild. Alright, first question comes from someone by the name of G, but their name has the numbers. It says G 13032001. Are you a robot, G? Because that's an interesting name. They said, why did you give yourself the name Hollow? Actually, I didn't. Basically what happened is I made a World of Warcraft character, and he was a Death Knight. And if you don't know what a Death Knight is, it's basically a powerful hero who died at some point during the timeline or whatever of just existing and all that stuff. And the Lich King brought them back to life to serve as one of his knights, teaching him, you know, he was much powerfuler than he was in life. So he's like this undead thing, brought back to life as a Death Knight, who's completely mind-controlled by the Lich King. I won't explain too much, but basically the Death Knights broke free of the Lich King's manipulation, and then they had their own actual thoughts, and then they remembered who they were and all of their past life, and now what they are is this monster, and 90% of them are not too happy about the situation. They're very strong, very powerful, but they are fucking not pleased with the monstrosity that they are, essentially, most of them. You know, a lot of Death Knights accepted who they are and their fate, and their whole goal as a group was to take down the Lich King and get revenge, basically, the Knights of the Ebon Blade. And this character, one of my main characters that I played for years, was a Death Knight, and I called him Hollow because that's how all Death Knights, or a bunch of them, or the majority of them, felt. Like they were just dead inside, and all they had was just like anger, and they wanted vengeance against the Lich King for what he did to them. And Hollow seemed like a simple name. I had this name on my character for 4 years or something, and people just called me Hollow for the longest time, and it kind of just stuck. So I started like putting my alias as that kind of thing for a long time, and then now we're here and it's my YouTube channel name and I'm just known as that. That's why I'm referred to as Hollow. It's quite similar to the story as to why Rage is called Rage, because his character Rage Reaver was called Rage. So the name's just stuck, you know. Next question comes from Nick N. I'm starting to think you're cancelling your Pro Laugh series because you haven't posted one in a few years. Is that true? You did it. You worked it out. It's been years since I've done a Pro Laughs, and that's because I stopped doing them. Next question from Raven Wolf. Have you ever considered writing creatively? With your sense of humour and taste of words, I think you could do well. Thank you. I appreciate the thought. I've always wanted to try and do writing, and I've talked about it like not too long on Teen Questions in general, about my favourite subject in school being English and writing and stories and all that, and my love for books and all that. I would love to do it, and it's definitely something I'm looking into doing at some point in my life, but for now it's not like an immediate thing that I'm planning on doing, but it's definitely something that I want to do. I don't know, create universes and storylines and create art for it. You know, I have a passion for that kind of thing, and it's something that I definitely will do in the future, but currently I have no time to do that. But before long, I'm sure I'll be able to. But thanks for the question. Wackashaw asks, hey Hollow, here's the question. Are you going to do a 50k subscriber special? Yes, I am. I intend to. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be, and I'm going to work on it, and it might be like by the time that I've got 51,000 subscribers. There's a train going by. But I intend to. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but something, it'll happen. Maybe I'll do something at like Eurogamer when I get like everyone together or something. I mean, it'd be okay to just do a video that's just like, thank you and talk about it, but you know, I kind of want to do something special, but I have to think of something good rather than just force myself to put something out there, you know, and it'd be bad. But yeah, it's a plan. Next question comes from Sweet Tail. I'm not sure if this has been asked before, but have you ever played Demon Souls? If so, which of the 3 Souls is the best in your opinion out of the 3? Well, I've not actually played Demon Souls properly. I've played a few bits of it from time to time. And I'm thinking about getting it for my PlayStation and playing it for the first time myself at some point in the future. I know the story and how it all works and stuff, and it's kind of a separate story. Demon Souls is in a universe similar, but a different universe to Dark Souls. In Demon Souls, it's like a ghost-related thing. That's the only way to say it. And with Dark Souls, it's like a curse, basically. Yeah, so it's basically like a curse in Dark Souls. Completely different areas, different worlds, and different, like, you know, lore, I guess is the right way to say it. I definitely think that Demon Souls lore is quite unique and interesting. And the Dark Souls lore is obviously amazing as well, but I feel like the Demon Souls is a bit more in depth and a little bit more to it, you know? As much as there's a huge amount in the Dark Souls lore now. I think the final boss fights say a lot about each game. Demon Souls final boss fight was a fucking challenge. That shit was like one of the hardest known bosses in the whole of the Souls series, and it led up to it really well, and then the follow-up after that was really cool as well. But the problem is, with Dark Souls 1, sure, Gwyn, the king that you fight at the end, he was really interesting, but he was piece of piss. It was really easy. You just parry him and then you kill him. And then the final boss in Dark Souls 2 is just this queen that comes out of nowhere that, sure, it pieces together well when you work it all out, but at the time when it first happens, it's like, who the fuck is this? And then it's a pretty boringly easy fight. I feel like they did a much better job in Demon Souls for finishing off. Both Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 had a kind of anticlimactic ending for me. The world and all of it led up to that was amazing, but definitely Demon Souls 1, who if, don't know if there's going to be a Demon Souls 2, but Demon Souls did a much better job at ending their game. I prefer Dark Souls 1 and 2, their world, I guess, like the actual play of it, but that's probably because it's updated, you know, it's not out of date. Like Demon Souls a little bit. It's a tough question. It's hard to answer, but I think Dark Souls 1 is probably my favourite currently. We'll see after I actually play Demon Souls myself, but yeah, that's my answer for now. Next one from Alexis Infant. Any tips for new Hearthstone players? Yes. Play all of the classes at least 3 times. Choose a class that you prefer and stick with it for as long as you can. You know, learn every side of it. Try different things. Build decks, you know. And the crucial thing is, do not spend your 100 gold on a pack. Spend 150 gold on an arena run. If you do that, you get a little bit of money back, and also you get a pack. So ultimately, you probably are going to get 100 gold worth for a pack, and you'll learn stuff, and you'll learn new cards, and you'll improve as a player, right? And if you can keep doing these arena runs and getting better scores, 7, 8 wins maybe, you'll actually start to earn money, and then you'll get more cards faster. Definitely my recommendation is pick one class to stick with, try them all a little bit, stick with that class, and then play arena and get good at arena, and then fill your actual cards, I guess, and craft cards from the dust and the gold you get from that. And then you'll slowly be able to improve your constructed play with that one class you've chosen, and you'll slowly get better as a player as you go against other classes and other decks. That's how I would recommend doing it. Next question comes from Fez Cat. What's your favourite thing about the lore of Dark Souls and lore in general? Did you always respect video game stories as much as you do now? Do you think it's anything to do with how much you like books? I definitely didn't. It all started mostly with World of Warcraft, as I was talking about earlier with the Hollow thing. Basically, it just started with World of Warcraft. I slowly learned that world of a game and slowly realised how rich lore can be in games, and you know, the game designers and what they hope to like a world put you in and try and make you imagine, and what they're trying to create. I had a lot of respect for that over the years of playing WoW, and the more I played new games, I sort of slowly grew an appreciation for lore in general and how it all works and the people who create it, how it all links together, the timeline of it. I just fucking love it. It's definitely been an acquired taste, something that I've gained over years, and it wasn't something that I started out loving. The only game that I've actually loved the lore of and how it all works and the story was Metal Gear, my favourite game series, Metal Gear Solid. Fucking love those, and those had a really interesting, in-depth, complicated story that works really well, and you know, they have humour and stuff, but anyway, it's definitely something that I grew into liking rather than started out with. You know, I've read when I was younger. I had this period of time where I wasn't reading through high school, and then when I regained my love for books, it definitely brought that back. And I fucking love lore, and I love finding out new stuff. And it's one of my favourite things to do in games now: find the backstory and learn more about these characters. You know. And final question now from Greeted Saucer: how many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles. It takes 10 tickles to make an octopus laugh. You get it because the 10, it's not like 8 because an octopus 8 arms, but like 10 tickles, like tentacles because they got tentacle. If you've got a question, leave it as a comment on this video. And I will, I might pick it. Sorry about that. Greeted Saucer, you made me do that, okay? Like, I don't have a choice. You made me do that. You gave me it was too easy, okay? I'll see you next time, guys.